Yeah, Keep Basement Podcast. We are back. How's everyone? How you doing, Mike? Good.
Good. Shout out to Danny Raff, Comedy Verb. He told me to
Oh
shout
yeah,
that out announcement, so I didn't forget.
yeah.
Um,
We didn't promote him last time. Danny Braff, obviously comedian, friend of the show.
Annoying friend of the show.
Annoying Jew, friend of the show. I'm not anti-Semitic.
Peace.
Verve in Somerville, New Jersey. Check that out if you guys live in the area. I think he does shows there once a month. Get some other venues, but that's definitely all the month. Yeah, would you see Usama Siddiqui last 2 nights ago, and a lady got kicked out, right? Or
Yeah,
she left. She got
yeah. Also, shout out. Yeah, that was. I don't think people have comedy etiquette. Like a lot of comedians don't understand this. Coming from like a non-comedy background, I just feel like people don't have like etiquette. They don't understand. Like some people actually think they're at a dinner. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Or
the
like
audience?
they're
Oh, yeah.
defensive, or they're like, if you like call someone out and call someone ugly, or if you're like, hey, can you shut the fuck up? No
Right.
one's gonna be like, yeah, I'll shut right up, unless they're nervous. They're gonna be defensive and come back at you and talk. Like it's like kind of like a psychology to it all. I think the best way to go about it, actually, not to get on a tangent off topic, but is to like kill them with kindness, to be so phony and nice that it's like the weirdest, like fuck you back to them. Like ask
Yeah,
about
well,
their
they're
life
usually,
and like interview them and stuff.
yeah, I mean, some comedians handle it better than others. Usually they're drunk too, potentially. And it's almost all the time a middle-aged white woman who like wants to just be part of the show because she's out and about on the town that night and she's
This
looking
one, yeah, this one was
freak.
so different. This is so different from like my previous heckler history. This one was like talking, like thinking like she wasn't doing anything wrong, but she was talking to like her friend while like the table was right there and the stage was right there, so she was just like talking about whatever and kind of like enjoying her dinner type thing, where she doesn't realize you can't talk during the show, and then was on her phone, not uninterested. So it's
That's
like
what's funny
I'd
to
be
me
like,
'cause
lady,
it's
I'm
like
working here. What the fuck? You know what
that's
I
what's
mean?
funny to me because it's like, did she buy a ticket with her friend to go to the show, or was she like you had to do that to get into that part of the venue? No,
Not
so oh, you're
exactly.
not just out eating dinner. And
A group per se. If you were like the fourth person and you didn't know anything about it, you're like, okay, I'll come. And she probably wasn't interested. And like they sat right next to the stage,
oh, is
which is
that
a
what it
rookie
was,
move.
or that's you're speculating?
We're speculating, but we think that's the case.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
You know what I mean?
However, was in the Comedy Cellar on Wednesday night, in which the famous Louis C.K. dropped in. You might have heard of him with his classic reading glasses. I think he did a couple clubs that night. His classic reading glasses and a spiral notebook that he read out of the entire time because he was doing a bunch of new shit and literally destroyed the place, burnt it to the ground. Basically, people were blowing him on stage, got a standing ovation. And that's what's crazy about going to the cellar and stuff because people will just drop in. I'm doing a show in a bakery around the corner, and then I just walk right around the corner from Bleecker Street to McDougal Street, and see Louis C.K. at the cellar. That's why that's why Greenwich Village, New York City, even now it's a fucking dump with the homeless and the sketchiness is still just so magical. And you see it when somebody drops in. I'm like, so this comedian comes up, Sean Donnelly, and he's like a regular. Like I've seen him a bunch of times. So you do 15 minutes. He does maybe 5 minutes and goes to get off stage. I'm like, that's weird. Why do you only do 5 minutes? It's not like he's auditioning. He's passed at the club. And then the host, John Laster, comes up and says, when they say it, they start it. You never know what will happen here at the Comedy Cellar. And it's like, oh, okay. So everyone starts to like, oh God, who's it going to be? It's going to be Chris Rock. It's going to be Louis, Chappelle, whoever. And he says Louis C.K. immediately. And I'm like, oh, that's why Donnelly got off early. And Louis just came up, didn't even do a whole bunch of time. He did like a spot, probably did like 15 minutes, killed. And then people who just are just regular fans got the treat of their week right there, rather than going to see him on the road for probably like 60 or $80. They could drop 15 and see him just pop and work on new shit. But yeah, there was no people were just like in all there. So it's just like I know what you mean with people who don't understand, because I've seen that happen at a club like that. That's a little different. Verve, Somerville, you're kind of in a restaurant. You're out in the suburbs. There's not a lot of comedy going on out there. So that's like different than being at like a comedy club in New York City. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people just don't know. They're not even doing it. Some are doing it on purpose because they're trying to be douche. They're trying to be cunts, or they're trying to be part of the show. Other people, I think, like even that woman, she probably didn't even realize she was doing anything wrong.